We're forever being told that it's good to keep interest rates low. The former Prime Minister John Howard campaigned from a lectern that read, "Keeping interest rates low." He even boasted they are at record lows. But in this election, his successors in the coalition are saying low interest rates are a bad thing. Actually, they're saying they're a bad sign. The Treasury spokesman Joe Hockey says if the Reserve Bank cuts rates, quote, "it's not because the economy is doing well, it's because the economy is deteriorating." Is he right? He reminded us on Monday that the government said a 3% cash rate reached during the global financial crisis was emergency levels. So if the bank keeps cutting beyond that, understand this, it's because they're worried about the Australian economy. Let's deal with that claim about emergency levels first. The Reserve Bank is cutting its cash rate from 2.75% to 2.5%. In 2009, during the global financial crisis, the rate was 3%, so it's lower now than it was when the Treasurer Wayne Swan referred to emergency levels. He said they were that low because of a big problem in the national economy. So it's a clear case, right? The cash rate is lower than it was when the rate was cut to emergency levels. Not so fast. Governor Glenn Stevens doesn't think it's an emergency. Here's what he told the House of Representatives Economics Committee in February, quote, "My sense is that the appropriate interest rate for the economy in the present circumstances is in fact the pretty low one we have now, not because we face an emergency like we did back then, but because we face some other forces of a more slowly evolving nature." He added, "I am not uncomfortable with this setting of rates." Why is he not uncomfortable? Why does he not think it's an emergency? Note the use of the plural in what he said. He referred to the setting of rates, not the setting of the rate. The plural was also there back in 2009 when the Treasurer Wayne Swan referred to emergency levels. It's rates, that is the retail rates that the bank targets using the cash rate that aren't at the emergency low reached in 2009. Back then, the standard variable mortgage rate hit a low of 5.8%. Even after these latest cuts, it'll still be higher. It's the rates that were at emergency lows back in 2009, not the cash rate. The cash rate is merely the instrument the Reserve Bank adjusts to move the retail rates that people are actually charged. The banks have widened their margins over the cash rate. Their rates are still not at emergency levels. The economy itself is in nothing like the emergency state of 2009. The GDP, the gross domestic product, is growing at 2.6% now. Back then it grew at 0.6%. But emergency or not, is the Reserve Bank cutting rates because it's worried about the economy? Yes, it is. Its statements say it's cutting rates to support demand. Joe Hockey is right. The Reserve Bank is cutting rates not because the economy is doing well, but because it's deteriorating. That's always the case when the Reserve Bank cuts rates, even back in the days when politicians boasted about keeping rates low. PolitiFact finds Joe Hockey's statement half true.